What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dragon Riders Media. I'm your host, Vincent, aka Dragon Rider, baby. And tonight we have another one of the best podcasts out there. Not just playing, but hey, I really enjoy doing this. This is the Behind the Bullshit podcast, where I bring on different guests of various backgrounds and business industries, and we talk about a little bit about their beginnings and some of their ups and bullshit that they've encountered along the way to where they are now. This is episode 33, and I'd like to welcome to the stage the man, the myth, the legend, Bitboy. What's up, man?
How's it going?
It's great, man. It's great, man. It's great to have you on, and man, you've been through a lot of stuff this year, man. It's been some turmoil, man. But before we get into that, for those that don't know you, let's get who are you, and where you come from, how'd you get into crypto?
Yeah, so I'm the Bitboy. I've been Armstrong. I've been in crypto since 2012. Full-time dedicated since 2017, but full-time working since January of 2018. And I one time ran the largest YouTube channel in the world, and I expect to do that again at some point. But, I got into crypto a very interesting way. A lot of people got in through the Silk Road during the time that I got in. I actually went to a drug rehab in 2007 and cleaned up my life. I was a mess before that and been sober ever since. And so because of that, I wasn't even messing with anybody. I didn't know anybody that was using the Silk Road at that time. I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah.
I had a ticket business where I sold online tickets for concerts and sports and stuff like that. I know like almost every venue in America. I sold, like $10 million worth of tickets over the 5 or 6 years that I did that. And what happened is I was using Craigslist, and I had used this thing called Clad G. It was called Clad Genius originally. And it was an auto poster where I could post ads nonstop on Craigslist. And I was like, at one time I was 2% of all Craigslist ads. That's how many I was doing, like 850,000 ads a day. It was crazy.
Wow.
And I had all these auto posters, 16 different IP addresses coming through DSL. Like the AT&T was like, what are we doing here? Like, I could have used all that energy to mine Bitcoin at the time. I just didn't know it. But what happened is that product violated the terms of service of Craigslist. And so they sued the guy, but he was in Ukraine. And so he wasn't going to come to the United States and answer the charges, right?
Yeah.
And so what happened is ICANN, which is like the internet police in the United States, they came and they took down his website. And they took all his payment processors, and he was like, guys, I don't know what to do. Like your monthly payment. You could run the software on 2 devices for every license. And I think I had 16. So I had like 8 licenses, and it was like it was $50 a month per license. So I'd pay like $400 per month to use the service. And we had no way to pay him. So he let us just for 6 months, like just chill and just like use it without having to pay him. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And he's like, all right, now I've got this thing called Bitcoin. Y'all got to catch up. And so we had to go back and figure out how to do it and back pay it. And so that's how I got into Bitcoin. And, a year later, I just had kind of some dust in the account. And that's when the 2013 bull run hit. And it shot straight up. In November, I sold like 6 Bitcoin for $1,700. That was awesome. I was excited. Wow. I was excited. I was like, took my family on a little vacation, $1,000 go down to Destin for a few days and paid off a couple bills. And, I had a conversation with my friend a little bit later. I was like, man, I made some money on this Bitcoin thing. I tell you, there's got to be something out there somewhere that's like an incredible investment you make a lot of money on, So,
yeah.
But it was good that I had sold it, though, because I would have lost it because it was on Mt. Gox. So I would have lost it a few months later in February. Anyways, that's kind of how I got into it. And I just started getting like a little more interested over time, like just watching the price here or there. After Mt. Gox, I thought Bitcoin was over. I was like, didn't really know what it was. I was just using it. And I thought it was over after Mt. Gox because that was all I knew how to use. That instant from Charlie Shrimp, or we would actually withdraw our money. And so I kind of like for a couple of years there, I just watched it a little bit. I watched the price go up, go down. You got to remember, we had 0 Bitcoin cycles to go off of then.
Yeah.
So we had no idea that there was going to be some kind of pattern to this. So, and obviously 2017, I just kind of went all in and have been dedicated ever since. So.
Wow, man, that's amazing. I tell people all the time, I think it was back in like I think 2012, 2013. I had some buddies. They were like, "Man, we need to get into this Bitcoin. Hey, all of us, let's just take $1,000 each, and we're gonna buy some Bitcoin." I said, "Man, I ain't buying that fake stuff.
Yeah.
Get out of here with that." And I went on vacation instead, so I missed like all the earliness and stuff like that, man. And I didn't rediscover crypto until 2020. So.
Yeah.
So all right, so that's kind of how you got into crypto and everything. So you from there you went on to to start your journey as a content creator and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So how'd that work out? Well, actually, how'd you learn the name Bitboy, and how'd you get all that started?
Well, yeah. So basically, what happened is that I had done a YouTube channel. I had done a YouTube channel, and I had tried it, and it sucked, and I hated it, and I didn't like editing videos. I was just using iMovie or whatever, and the stuff I was doing was very cheesy. And the channel I was trying to do, basically, what happened, I've just ever since my ticket business, my ticket business, eventually Craigslist kind of made a lot of changes. I couldn't post that many ads anymore, and
Yeah.
the business just kind of eroded away. But ever since, that was my first attempt at internet entrepreneurship, and I was making six figures in the first year, and I was just really lucky. I hit the right thing at the right time, and I worked really hard. And what happened is that I kept looking for other ideas. I probably done 30 or 40 businesses. I got like 5 or 6 ones that were, 3 or 4 that were successful enough to pay a lot of bills for a while. And then 2, this one, and then my ticket business just crushed it. And so once you kind of figure out that money's out there, it whets your appetite, and you really understand that, man, you can try all this drop shipping, affiliate stuff, you can do whatever, but you're just kind of copying what some other people have done, and it might work for you, it might not. It's kind of tedious work doing that stuff. I don't really like doing things like that.
Yeah.
And so I knew that the big money was in finding those opportunities that just nobody else was seeing. And I thought one of those opportunities back in kind of the mid 2000s was subscription boxes, because those things were good. And what I realized about a month into it is they're all for chicks. And so
Yeah.
I got people to send me all these boxes, and I go open one that had some jewelry in it, and I was like, yeah. Now remember, I'm not Bitboy yet. Yeah, Ben Armstrong up here talking about women's jewelry. Imagine.
Hey, you muted. Oh,
Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
oh, it's all right.
Later on, I would meet another guy who was a pretty decent sized YouTuber, and I got a little interested in it again. He kind of showed me some things, and I learned a little bit, and I still didn't quite. I wish I would have just listened to him completely. I still thought I kind of knew my own thing to do, but when people have paths to success, a lot of times you should just follow it. And if I would have followed it, I would have got to where I got probably a little bit sooner or so. So I started in 2018, January 2018. We came up with the name Bitboy, and it came up with a comic book series called Bitboy and Hodl. Hodl is his turtle sidekick. I think we're going to kill Hodl. There's no Hodl in the new iteration of Bitboy coming out at some point. But basically, if you go back and look at the first videos on my previous channel, you'll see they were basically just kind of like memes I was making, like videos, animation. I was supposed to have Lil Pump on my show tomorrow. I think I'm going to have him on the show maybe when I get back from Singapore. And I have a blockchain Gucci Gang remix that I did. And I animated the video. It's on my channel somewhere, the old channel. So, it's just one of these things where I just wanted to have fun. But what happened is midway through 2018, or kind of March 2018, I actually cracked one of my ribs. It's a long story, but I cracked one of my ribs, and I wasn't able to. I was playing a lot of pickleball at the time, and so I wasn't able to play pickleball. And so I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to start doing news videos and kind of see where it goes. So I started doing news videos, and I started doing one news video and then one kind of coin review video per day. And pretty much at the very beginning, I was doing 2 videos per day, and they were just basically like I would sit on in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen or left-hand corner of the screen, and I would talk about what's going on. I had a big green spaceship box that I built, but I put all this, green screen sound mufflers.
Yeah.
And it was horrible because I couldn't get the lighting right. I had no idea what I was doing. And so like I had to wear a backwards hat for a long time. because my gray hair would blend into the green screen, and it made me look like I was balding or something. So I didn't want that. And so I wore a hat all the time. Ironically, I later found out from a few ladies that I was having lunch with at a conference that they said everyone in crypto, all the females thought I was bald pretty much because I wore a hat all the time. And I was like, oh no, have these luscious locks. And I have not put the hat on since.
Wow, man. But you know, those are exciting times and stuff. You know, when you're first starting out, you're figuring things out.
Yeah.
You kind of have your technical difficulties and stuff like that, the glitches and all that. Man, that's fun and exciting stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know. So even to me, like even now, like I'll have a TED. I'll be like, oh shit, I forgot to turn my mic on. I've been talking for 30 minutes. Forgot to turn my mic on. You know?
Well, we still have problems all the time. I mean, we had a problem on the show today. Like the show shut down in the middle of the show, and I see some of these other people that do it and they don't have problems. Some people say it's because I like to use Macs. Macs have more problems than PCs when it comes to streaming, but it happens to all of us. And I was thinking the other day about a time when I went and I saw somebody's YouTube studio, and I was kind of impressed with it. I was impressed because it was like a lot of it was just kind of thrown together, kind of the way that I threw my stuff together, but they made it work. And I remember thinking to myself, man, I miss building. I miss building the channel, the early days and stuff. And I never knew I'd get to do it again. but in all seriousness, though, be careful what you wish for sometimes. Because I do remember thinking that. And I tell you, even though I'm growing much faster than I started out, because nobody watched me for 2.5, almost 3 years.
Yeah,
I was still getting like just a few hundred views on videos, like almost 3 years in. So it was a hard road, but we got there. So
yeah, absolutely, man. That's part of the grind, and it helps you grow into a professional, and that really sets a tone on whether whether or not you want to be serious about it, or if you just still playing around, or some people just give it up completely. They're like, I only got 2 people watching, boo, like they're supposed to be like Mr. Beast overnight. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work, especially in your case when you start working with other people, man. So you grew this big network, man. So how did that get started?
Yeah, so basically I just decided that I thought it would be good if we kind of expanded, because we had all this money. We had all this money and we wanted to expand and go into different industries. And I want to, I've always said that, and it's kind of funny, but do you know the number one way to make money on the internet?
No.
Telling people how to make money on the internet. That is definitely by far and away, along with weight loss is up there too. Weight loss is very high. And I think there's one other thing that's pretty high up there. But in all seriousness, that is the number one thing. And so I want to do a podcast. I thought we should branch out. We should kind of get into more of the money making instead of just in crypto. And so we started this podcast called New Money Gang. It was me and Jay Chains and another lady and or female, and her name was Leanne. And it was terrible. It was just awful. It never really took off. We tried like 3 or 4 iterations. It ends up being Metaverse, and Jay Chains had it at the end, or Meta Money. And because we were like, okay, well, how to make money? And we tried all these other things. We wanted to get into several different industries. I wanted to do sports. I had a sports podcast before. I was doing it on top of some of this stuff. And so I didn't really, it's too oversaturated. I thought, but we're big enough, we can do something. And what I found is that, I thought that we had this formula for creating content, but that wasn't ever really true. Really, what we had me, and people came to the channel and they watched me, and they watched the things that were affiliated with me, some of the things, because they were interested in me or us or what we were doing. Yeah. And I think that really is where things started to go off track, is when we started expanding into other kind of areas, and none of them worked. Not a single one of them worked. We finally, eventually, with Frank's channel, because he was on my live stream every day, we got one that grew and did pretty well. Meta Money and NFT, what's it called now? It was called NFT Alpha. They changed the name again. But that one right there, it was doing okay. It was doing okay views. Yeah. And but the thing we didn't realize is all the things that we were doing that were working, it was all crypto related. Anything we ever tried to touch was not crypto related, whether it was vlogs or whatever. We had that Hit Network channel, and it had 100,000 subscribers on it. Yeah. But it had 80,000 when TJ came in. I turned that into originally that channel was it was my CEO of Facts channel, which was my TikTok brand that I had for a while. I had 3 million people over there doing something totally different, talking about the dark web and, doing some weird art stuff.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's
people love that stuff though, man. It's like, ooh,
yeah.
what's in the dark corners and crevices of the web,
Oh yeah, the dark web. My dark web video. At one time, I was the fastest growing person on TikTok. I hit 1 million overnight on a dark web video, and things were going really well. I had this channel. I did this channel, and I was doing COVID updates. I was doing updates like months before the COVID lockdowns. I was telling people, you're not going to be going to school. You're not going to be going to watch, and it all happened.
Yeah.
Just like I hope I didn't speak that into existence. But the point the point is that I was doing a lot of things over there, and I was growing this brand, and I had a video that had 4 million views on it. It's the biggest video I ever did on YouTube on that channel. Wow. It was a story about this guy named John Jones, not the UFC fighter, but a guy who was in Utah that got stuck in a cave, like head first down spelunking, and he was stuck for 24 hours. He ends up dying. It's an awful story. It's horrible. It's like so terrifying.
I think I've seen clips of that. Like they keep different channels keep replaying that and stuff, and it gets like even today it still gets like 20,000 views.
Yeah. So what happened is I decided they took down the Bitboy channel one day. I was like, what? Like, some weird. It happens to a lot of us that were larger YouTubers. Like our channel will get taken down. We go to Twitter and say, "Team YouTube, you hate crypto." Bring back this person's channel who was deleted. Oh, you're so oppressive. And then like an hour or two later, I'd have my channel back. So when that happened the first time, it really scared me though, because my channel's gone. Like it's like 3 strikes you're out sometimes.
Yeah.
Like they're like, your channel's just poof. And so what happens is that there are train of thought. What was I talking about? What was I talking about? What was my train of thought? Where were we at? What was I saying?
When you growing the network.
Yeah. So, anyways, the point is, we just tried all kinds of different stuff, and it didn't work. And I think we really got off track there because we thought we had this formula. We didn't really have a formula. Everything we did that was related to crypto kind of did okay, but at the end of the day, I think that what we should have done is what I really should have done, obviously, is not ever going to business with anybody. But I think if we were to have gone into business, the better way to do it would have just been to do more crypto focused channels. I think that would have been a much better idea. We could have done a TA channel. We could have done, a tutorial channel. We could have done all kinds of channels. And by the time we started the Academy channel and different things, it was basically like the market, the bottom had already fallen out of the market. And so it's like, stick to what you're good at. I think is kind of what I'm saying. Stick to what you're good at. And, that I think right now what's happened for me is I have actually moved to a place where I am, I am in a place where I can talk about different things now, because I have slowly integrated and learned about the financial system. And so I can talk finance or economics with the best of people now, maybe not on like technical points, but I feel like I know more about what's going on around the world than almost anybody. And it's not what people think. But if you've been paying attention to bricks and stuff, it can be kind of scary. So I've kind of started branding more into kind of the mainstream finance stuff and the mainstream, economic stuff, along with, I like getting into kind of some tech stuff. I like AI stuff. I've been getting into quantum computing and quantum mechanics. And when you go from quantum computing to quantum mechanics, you end up in time travel and multiverse, which is just the most fascinating thing in the world to me that I'm obsessed with. Wow. So it's all I've been reading about. And because I think time travel is real. I mean, it might sound crazy, but I think it's already happening. I think that's what I said. I didn't even believe in aliens or UFOs and stuff. Now I believe in everything. The UFOs that we see and have been seeing throughout history, it's our own technology later down the road coming back. Like quantum mechanics has proven we can time travel. Particles can. We don't know if humans can yet. Yeah. But I think there's a lot. So that crypto has led me all the way to, to there. And it's very interesting stuff. So I think when you have a big, wide knowledge base to talk about stuff, it's natural and it's easy. When you just kind of throw out all these ideas, say, I'm just going to do this channel because it'll make money, you're not going to really, really thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just talking about the the whole universe just kind of, it's essentially, it's almost spinning in a circle, because if I mean, this could be a whole nother topic, you know what I mean? But we are also finding that the dinosaurs ain't as old as they was. There was humans actually walking with dinosaurs. There was like all these big massive cities that are like under mud that they're constantly recovering and stuff. And it's like, there's so much stuff that's hidden from us. Nobody knows everything. You know what I mean? It's like you could be an expert in any field and still be a dummy, because there is so much more to find. We've just scratched the surface of our beginnings. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a whole other thing. But you kind of I just kind of want to just kind of hit on. I know it's maybe a sensitive topic or whatnot, but the whole thing, the whole kind of disbandment and downfall of the Hit Network. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, a lot of us got to see a lot of the anger and frustration and stuff like that, because you helped build this. You brought this team with you, you know what I mean, and built this you would essentially say this empire. And next thing you know, it's like people snatching the rug out from under you, and it's like, wait a minute, you know what I mean? Like, anybody, like right now, if somebody was to come in and be like, hey, guess what? Dragon Rider Media ain't yours no more. I'd be like, what? Wait a minute. What are you talking about? We about to be sophisticuffs. You know what I mean? So like you don't have to go in super detail, but like how, I mean, what kind of toll did that take on you as a businessman and as a professional?
It's not. It's as a man. It's as a man. It's not as a business person. This is men shit. This is not business stuff. This is personal. This was always personal from day one. And I think that the kind of toll, I believe that by the end of this story, I don't know when the story ends, and there's going to be repercussions, and there's going to be, this story's not ending soon, no matter what happens soon, even if there is action soon. But when people look back and people realize that almost everything that I've said is complete and true and exactly as I've said that it is, when people realize I've actually been telling the truth the whole time. Now, there have been certain times where my mental health has got the best of me, and I've said some things and made some inferences that may or may not have been there. But most of them have been real. And when people realize the hell and the horror that Cassie and I went through, and it's not what we went through. It's when people finally come to realize why this was done. Then the what and the how, it's going to become so much worse for people. And there are legs to this that reach a lot of different areas and a lot of different bad things. And there are some things we know that occurred, but we're not sure who did it. There's some things that we know somebody did, but we don't know exactly where the money went and things like that. So I do know that right now at this point, we are so close to, I believe, seeing major action in this case that I got to be really careful what I say. I don't want to say
I don't want don't
say that they jinx it, but I think that people just need to understand that I've been truthful, and I know I'm not supposed to say. I've been told I'm not supposed to say anything about the CFTC case anymore, and all I will say is I just would point out the one thing that was very clear when that was published is that it was addressed to them. My name is nowhere. I have a copy of it now. My name is nowhere on that subpoena, not one place. So other than that, can't really say too much about it. But I would say I think down the road, I think there's going to be fireworks from CFTC, the SEC, the DOJ, and who knows? Who knows who else could be involved? So it is. Look, this is what I want to say. Cassie and I were talking about this today. If you did something really bad, I'm not saying you didn't, shoot, maybe you did kill somebody. Maybe you killed somebody. Maybe you were driving and it was raining. I tell you, I was driving today and a dog as close I've ever came to hitting. I mean, I think I hit a squirrel or a rabbit one time when I was younger, but
Yeah.
close I've ever came to hitting like an animal. It just darted out right in front of me in the neighborhood. I slammed on the brakes, like all stuff in the seat flew, you know. But what if I was on, what if that had happened and I hit the person and man, I freaked out in the moment and I just drove away. That happened. That happens to people. It's dark, it's on a road, and nobody's gonna know. You think, how can I get away with it? Now, here's the thing. You can make that decision, and it's not the right thing to do. But if you never get caught for it, then good on you. But if you did get caught for it, it's a major, 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 major crime. Okay.
Yeah.
Your best course of action there is to go tell somebody. Now, if you were drunk or you're under an influence, okay, maybe I get it, taking a chance. I understand. Maybe you're rolling the dice. But if I hit a car. I hit a car recently, barely. I mean, I barely tapped it, right?
Yeah.
And the number one reason for hit and runs is people hitting parked cars. So what I did is I actually sat there. I was like, man, it was like a 95 or 2002 Suzuki or something. It was the back wheel thing that covers, like, it has a kind of a Jeep wheel on the back, but it's covered.
Yeah.
I barely
It probably did more damage to your car than you did.
I got a big old truck. It didn't do nothing on mine.
Oh,
But I looked. So what I did was I looked up the replacement for that thing, and it was $300 or $200. And I was like, okay. I took $300. I put it in an envelope. I put my information. I put my phone number. I said, I'm sorry. I tapped the battery. I'm stupid and get in trouble. Like, especially something that, like, it would have been so easy for me to drive away. So easy. Yeah. I was almost positive that nothing was going to happen. But so let's go back to our scenario here where you do hit somebody and you think maybe you killed them, you drive off. You decide you're not going to do it. Okay. The first hint that you get that maybe somehow someone might be able to figure out or is figuring out that maybe you or someone that fit your vehicle's description or something had to do with this, you have a decision to make. You have a big decision to make. Are you going to face the music, or are you going to lie and try everything you can, every dirty, underhanded trick that you can to keep from getting in trouble? But it's like Pac-Man. Like, you see it coming down the, boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
And all you're trying to do is, if you're Pac-Man, and let's say you got the ghost chasing you, you're just trying to get one more dot, get one more dot, get one more dot, get one more dot. And that's really, I think, kind of what the lesson of this situation is. That when you get caught red-handed and you're in big trouble, because kind of what occurred was some things that happened were going to lead me to discover everything that had happened through another financial person coming in the building and finding it.
Yeah.
So the problem is instead of just facing the music and saying, look, Ben, we're up here. We stole from you. We stole a lot of money from you. We can give you money back. I'm really sorry. This is your company. I'll do anything. I'm so, as bad as that was, the person I was then, I would have forgiven him, and I would have just, taken the money back and let them go on, and that would have been it. That is what would have happened. Now, I can't say that the CFTC wouldn't have gotten involved eventually, and so really the way that this all happened was the best possible way because I was unattached.
Yeah.
Now everybody knows I had no financial control over anything, so I couldn't have been doing some of the things that they were saying that I was doing, or not that I was doing, but that's implied in some of the language, some of the investigation. So the point is that I got separated, and it turned out being a good thing, but they didn't do that. They didn't make the decision to just own up and try to figure out something. Instead, because there was already a plan in motion. There's already a plan in motion. Plan had been in motion for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And an official plan, at least since kind of the middle of July, a month before, to actually do it. And they got interrupted because I had left my soon to be ex-wife, and I had gone to Cassie, and at that point, they knew that if through my divorce, that the lawyers would want to look at the books, and that
Yep.
is why all of this happened. And it's
Mm.
all going to come out, and it's all 100% true. And now, because of that, now there's a lot of other crimes that have actually have been uncovered. But I'm not going to go too much into any of those
Yeah.
specifics or anything like that. But I will say I do believe I will get my Lamborghini back. I do believe I still believe I will get my Lamborghini back. The title is frozen. Somebody in Florida owns it. I think it's Florida, maybe it's North Carolina. I can't remember now. But they can't register it because the title's frozen. The Department of Revenue here froze it, about 10 months ago.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. We have a lot of stuff going on with our court situation, our lawsuit, and I'm really looking forward to moving forward and take a nice break, leaving on Saturday to go to Singapore. So excited about going to Token 2049, the conference. I don't think I won't get kicked out of. So
yeah. Man, I was planning on going, but things didn't line up for me to make it to that. But and that was going to leave me because I just want to say, hey, that network, hey, the flair was gone. I mean, it was literally like, who even watches this anymore? Like, seriously, no, but not. It was obvious. It was obvious who the star of the show was and who was everybody else was piggybacking on. But beyond that, man, you're now like you're doing other things and fighting now, man. How did that work itself out? Like, how did you get in to doing that?
Well, when I was first starting my new channel, I guess I've had it for almost a year now. I've been making regular videos. This will be my 11th or 12th month that I've been making videos consistently on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
And well, at that point, I only had like maybe 40,000 subscribers. And I was really wanting to, I wanted to, get my subscribers up. I want people to be paying attention to me again because I got this little account now. And so I started talking to this guy, Shill and Villain, Alex, and he was like, hey, man, we should fight. We should do it for, we should go fight in Las Vegas. And I was like, yeah, it sounds cool, So I started thinking about the idea because I'd always wanted to do it. But the problem is that my previous partner would not allow me to do it, did not want me to fight. Was afraid that I would kill someone, or was afraid, wasn't afraid I would get hurt, was afraid I'd really hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And, I think that once I moved on, I started playing with this idea, and I was like, okay. And then somebody brought up the idea of fighting Blockchain Boy, which I don't know how I feel about him today, but I do know that definitely at that time I did want to fight him. He's much larger than me. He's, probably 400 pounds, but I really at that point did not like him, and I was very angry and wanted to hit someone. So and I was just imagining, it's Lil Mac versus King Hippo. That's what it was going to be. I was going to have some training, to go to New York and run in the pink sweat. I've got a pink jogging suit. I really do to do that. So, I was going to have my trainer, he's kind of old, he's not old, he's about my age, but he's like a heavy set black dude, so like, okay, you can be Doc, you can be running behind.
Yeah, put the towel on it.
Get your towel on, I'll be running, So that's what I wanted to do. I thought it'd be really cool. And then, he ended up dropping out. He's just like, I'm just not healthy enough or something like that. He didn't think he could get in shape soon enough. And so then they had me, want to fight this other guy, and I was going to fight him. And then some weird stuff happened. He ended up dropping out. And then they had this other guy for me. And so it's like, okay. And it ended up being more light. And I didn't, I wanted to fight someone who I didn't like. That's what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, I don't know, like I would just have
a lot of pent up frustration.
Yeah, but I didn't even know this guy. He ended up being a really nice guy, and I like him. We have a pretty good friendship. We don't talk a lot, but we talk on Twitter, and we talk whenever we see each other. And I think he definitely earned my respect in that fight. And so I did think I was going to really hurt him. I thought I was going to beat him very badly. I also thought I was going to beat the second guy I fought very badly. Mm-hmm. And there's some names for my third fight. And I don't know. Maybe I'll beat that person up very badly, but I haven't beaten up anyone badly yet. Now, when I did have more light on the wall, we were told that we were still able to hit him, and they pulled me off him too early. When I had him on the wall that one time, I think I was going to finish him right there.
Yeah.
I don't know how many more he could have taken with me slamming his head on the wall while I'm hitting him. But I tell you, the craziest thing was when I went out there, man. Like, and people could see I wasn't quite as crazy and whatever for my second fight for my boxing match. But for my first fight, like I felt like I was fighting for my career. I knew I was going out there to fight for my career. I put everything I had on my back, put Cassie's name on my chest, And I went out there and I gave it everything I had. It didn't matter who they put out there on that night.
Yeah.
On that night, I was going to win. And that night, like what happened on social media with watching the sentiment on me turn to respect. Like some people still don't like me, but a lot of people respect me now. And I was really, people always say, oh, people are always writing these checks they can't cash with their mouths. I tell you, if I write a check with my mouth, I try my best to cash it. And I usually do.
Yeah.
And so I do have some people in mind for a third fight. been working on my cardio pretty good and stuff on my shoulder for my last fight. It's my rotator cuff. Actually, we have determined it is my rotator cuff. So I've been going to rehab twice a week. And I think probably by the time I get back from Singapore, I might have 1 or 2 more weeks. And then I'm going to start training again and probably going to fight probably Q1 of next year.
Nice. Man, it's exciting though, man. I mean, because you just see everyone's getting to see you in a different light. You know what I mean? And I mean, and quite honestly, especially here lately, it seems like you're kind of on the up, especially with just you say you don't seem like the down person you was. You know what I'm saying? It's that you are definitely on that up streak, man. And it's good to see people, just bounce back from all that negativity, even though you're still going through it a little bit. You know what I mean? You're showing that you're bouncing back. You're coming back. You're back to becoming Bitboy again. You know what I mean? And that's the thing.
Yeah, and that's 100% accurate. It was the weirdest thing. I had a very bad day. And it was exactly 1 year after this whole thing started. Because a lot of people don't know the actual dates when this started. They know what they saw, which was on August 27th. This actually started really the night of August the 15th, I think it was. Or maybe it was the 16th. But it was right around the middle of August. And it was exactly 1 year since it had started. And I just had like a really bad day, and I saw some stuff that I thought was something it wasn't, and I ended up, it just wasn't a good day, is what I'm gonna say. It was not a good day for me, and I was forced to really, really, really look at everything, and for the longest time, it just felt like, okay, if I can just make it a few more weeks, this thing's gonna be over. I thought from the very beginning this is going to be over in a few weeks, from the very beginning. Because what I know in my brain about what happened, because I know what happened, is so drastically different than people's interpretation or the story that they're telling. And because I know the whole story, now I know the backstory of all the money and things like that. I didn't even know that at the beginning. I just knew it was a conspiracy to throw me out, because I knew that they were lying, like absolutely lying about stuff. And because of that, it just got in my head, and I really was so angry. And I finally got to a point where I felt like, I always said that there are things out there that there's nothing out there that's unforgivable. I mean, child molestation. I mean, people, that is something you don't, it's hard to really, whatever. That's a bad one. Outside of that, like most things people do, the Bible says, you're supposed to forgive people. I was at this point with what they had done to me. It felt so evil. And they tried to make me kill myself. And I think there was potentially a plan to have me killed at one point. I think that's real. And when all this is over, people are going to see. Actually, no, that's not true. They did try to have me killed. They did. They had me swatted. They literally did have me swatted, and my brother swatted. Both of us. They tried to have, and I heard the phone call from the police. The police said, the call said, "I'm waiting out here with a gun. As soon as you pull up, I'm going to shoot you." Like, yeah, that's what the phone call said. And so they were ready. Luckily things happened the way they did. It was still very horrifying, but I was okay, and nobody in my family got hurt. But like when people realize all this, they're going to understand why for a long time I was saying that this is something that is not forgivable. We can't forgive people for something like this. And I think at the end of the day, it's always, even in my own life, when I've talked to people about this, and I used to be a youth pastor and different things, like I used to be a lay counselor. I ran a counseling program or a rehab for teenage boys for years and years and years for drug rehab. And the thing is that, when it comes to your ability when it comes to you holding unforgiveness towards someone, No, forgiveness is not something that animals really do. It's like really a human thing. It's the opposite of instinct. The instinct is eye for an eye. That's the instinct. The opposite of that is something totally different. Is to let go.
Yeah.
And every time you get angry at somebody, you seem to think that this one is, oh my gosh, nope, F this guy. I can't forgive this guy.
Yeah.
No, it's not true. You have to forgive those people. And the reason is because it doesn't do anything to them. It only hurts you. Like it literally only hurts you. And
You got
so
to learn
after
to
a
let
year,
go.
yeah, after a year, it took a year. It took a year. And I finally was able to get up the courage to do the right thing and forgive them. And so when I talk about what happened, like I'm not talking out of anger. I'm just talking about what happened. I mean, it
Yeah.
is what it is. And it's going to be known. It's going to be public and people are going to see it. And then people can make up their own minds for everything that they see.
Yeah.
I know that there's going to be nobody on their side. Nobody on their side at the end of this. And it's funny because there were more people on my side from the beginning, and people hated me at that time, I thought. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it has been a really good thing, and we really brought the fun back to the show, and we've sticking to crypto a lot, and not we're trying to stay to a little more structure and things like that. So, and I'm not just rambling nonstop like I was before. I'm trying to think a little bit more about what I say, and the show's been good. It's been great. It hasn't felt like work in a while again. So and it was a dark year. It was a dark 1 year, but things are better for me.
Hey, that's awesome, man. Hey, that's why I do what I do right now, man. Because I enjoy doing this. Now, when I get to the point where I'm just like, you know what, this fucking sucks. Oh man, I gotta turn this camera on. That's when I'll be like, you know what, time for me to take a break.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, look, man. I know you're a busy guy, but there's always there's two questions I always bring on my guests.
Okay.
And so this is called Behind the Bullshit. So so there's two moments in your career. It could be any moment. So there's two moments that I essentially call some positive bullshit, and then you got your negative bullshit. I know we kind of got a grasp on some of that negative bullshit, but with positive, it's like, oh, you know what, this was kind of some bullshit. Like I had some fucked up cameras, but you know what? That urged me to get a new camera, and boom, I'm good. I'm even better now. So you got your positive bullshit where it was like, yeah, something happened, but you know what? It helps you grow. It helps you turn into a better person. And then you got your negative bullshit, which is just like, oh man, this was just some straight bullshit. I don't wish this on my worst enemy. So we will start with your positive bullshit moment.
Yeah, my positive bullshit. I would say that I think that there were a lot of times that things happen in kind of some funky ways, and I'm trying to think of a really, really, really good one because there are so many. I would say, look,
especially in crypto.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for real. But sometimes things don't. I would say, look, I would say my negative bullshit. Now, are we it's negative that stays negative and the positive stays positive, or they both worked out positive for you?
Either way you want to put it.
Because the negative bullshit is everything that just happened to me. I mean, but the thing is it's going to end up being the greatest thing that ever happened. Like, I've been reading a lot of books and just about the universe and things and about how much we really do will and speak things into existence, and how sometimes we don't understand that God, the universe, whatever you want to call the thing that built all this, or is all this, or whatever it is, it's like the more that we do what we're supposed to do, the more it kind of watches out for us. People call it karma, right? Mm-hmm. Well, even as frustrated as I've been, I get frustrated today. I mean, I still get frustrated over some stuff around this sometimes. Yeah. But even when I get frustrated, I realize that this is the very, very, very best possible thing that could happen to me. And it's because now there's a CFTC investigation, and it's very clear I didn't have control of those wallets. It's very clear. Like, if I did, I would have $1 to my name. I didn't. I wasn't even on the bank account. So and then I'm with Cassie. Cassie's absolutely amazing. And, I know things, didn't work out or whatever, people know kind of what happened with the family, but, I am very happy with Cassie, and we have a really great relationship, and she has basically helped us solve a lot of this investigation stuff. She's extremely smart. And I would say that kind of interestingly enough, the thing that really kind of pushed all this into happen was the steak deal that I had. They paid me like an NFL quarterback. That's my favorite line. I mean, I was getting paid as much as some NFL quarterbacks. You know, $15 million a year. It's amazing.
Wow.
Cassie got that deal for us. The positive bullshit was when I went to, I had been, Gainsey, couldn't stand Gainsey. Hated Gainsey on Twitter. He was always making fun of me and cringe, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so I go to the Bahamas to chase down Sam Bankman-Fried, and Ice Bags is there, and I don't even really know who Ice Bags is at that point, but he these messages get to me from other people because I had him blocked, I guess. He said something bad about me at some point. And he's like, hey, man, I had seen them in the casino earlier. I didn't know it was them. They said, oh, hey, Bitboy, but they didn't tell me there were people in this industry. I just thought they were fans or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I come back, and we had dinner, and it's very interesting. It was out of this dinner that I got the contact that I eventually gave to Cassie to contact Steak. Now, I had given that contact to Deezy. Deezy and Taco both had that contact, and neither one of them called. And the reason is because they didn't want me to have a good deal. They didn't want me to have a steak deal because they were already planning. They had really been planning to move me out of the company since day one. They were always going to take the company from me. I was an easy mark. That's the way they saw it. I was vulnerable because I was so trusting, and they were just going to come in and clean up. And then that's what they did. And so they didn't, when we got the steak deal, they didn't want that. They had already stolen tons of money. Now I've got this big deal where I'm paid huge and I'm real big. And people are like, oh, you're not gonna be able to remove him now. And so it took 8 months or 7 months after we got the steak deal for them to finally, pull the trigger on it. But yeah, that's the way everything went down. So that ended up, I go down to the Bahamas, and it's crazy stuff down there with Sam, and then it turns into I went down there and I got that deal. So, and I think I'm pretty sure they wanted me to go down there because they thought people were gonna make fun of me. They didn't think it was gonna be anything real big, and because they were the ones that encouraged me to go down there. And I went down there and I ended up snagging this $15 million deal. So that was positive bullshit. Look. For me, all the bullshit always works out positive in the end.
Hey, I heard that, man. Hey, and you know what? It's always positive bullshit when you get some bullshit, fake ass friends, and you get them removed out of your life. Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, look, I know you're a busy guy. You got things to do, man. I really appreciate you coming on and giving us, just some insight of your beginnings as Bitboy and your rebirth as the new Bitboy.
Well, we have been promoted, as you can see on my thing. I'm no longer Bitboy. I'm the Bitboy. So that is a name change. Now, I don't know if I'm going to make it official on the website or anything, but people always wanted me to say, like, oh, we're going to be Bitman. No, I'm sorry, Bitman sounds stupid. It doesn't sound cool. The Bitboy sounds pretty cool. And I can say it like Batman. The Bitboy. See?
Yeah. Hey, I'm all for it, man. That's dope. You know what I mean? It is. Everybody goes through a little bit of a rebrand, and just that little addition, man, it sounds good. It flows. I'm all for it. But hey, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate everybody that showed out. If you haven't already, make sure you go to his website. It's in the description. Follow this man wherever he goes, man. He's really, really good entertainer. He built an empire. It went to ashes because of some snakes, but he's rebuilding, and it's gonna be bigger and better, man. This guy is the definition of an entrepreneur that can actually build some things. Stop listening to these fake ass people sitting around the space, shilling you some boring ass. No.
I know how it is. Yeah.
But and then if you haven't already, definitely shoot me a like, follow, subscribe, whatever platform you're watching this on. This will be for your listening pleasure. This will also be posted on your favorite audio platform, Spotify, iHeart, all that stuff. Just look for the Behind the Bullshit podcast. With that being said, once again, man, I really appreciate you. Appreciate everyone out there, and we will see y'all later.
Thanks for having me on.
You better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every